All right, y'all, so let's talk about this. So I did the first part of this video, which was entitled, If Telling the Truth is Mocking a YouTuber, Why is it okay for a YouTuber to mock the sport of boxing? Now, I want to start this video with some of the points that I made in the first video because I want to piggyback to give you more points. Let's start with point number one. I brought up Clarissa Shields being a crossover boxer, a crossover athlete, should I say, boxer and MMA fighter, legit MMA fighter, legit boxer, okay? If Clarissa Shields had went into MMA, even with her reputation and popularity through her boxing career, and let's just say there's some old female retired fighters right now that haven't fought in a long time, okay? Let's just say. And she goes in there and she knocked them out. And another one, and another one, and another one. But she's claiming she's the best MMA fighter in the world. Nobody can beat her. Nobody wants to fight her in MMA. How many of you will respect that? She didn't do that. She did it the right way. She got in there. She got with a great team of people to train her. She understands this is a tough journey. But hey, how long she want to keep doing it, that's up to her. Win, lose, or draw, her MMA career, her boxing career are two different things. But bottom line is, she took the time to learn and understand and dedicate the time to train and go in there to get in the type of shape and the understanding that she needs to go in there and get better. She didn't go in there and start saying, oh, I'm better than half these girls already. Oh, I'm better than this and that. No, it's not what she did. You guys, think about that. Point number two. What if Sugar Ray Leonard, Jack Johnson, Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, Ray Robinson, Kid Gavilan, the list goes on. Let's say of all of those guys, let's say if their route to boxing was the same way Jake Paul did it, do you think boxing would still be here now? We don't want to fight anybody in our age group that has the same amount of experience as us. We want to fight guys from other sports that's not even boxers, that's also way past their prime in that sport and completely washed up and much older than me. You think boxing would still be here? Do you really think it wouldn't have faded out? Now, what if every boxer followed the Jake Paul blueprint? How can we respect these fighters when they don't want to fight people that's a danger to them? What if, example, Jake Paul already lost to Tommy Fury? But what if Jake Paul would have came into boxing and said, hey, you know, I have my Misfits Boxing League, it's doing well. You know, I'm helping to do other things. I'm trying to contribute to boxing. I want to be a huge contributor to boxing in so many ways. I want to help the women's division. I'm coming into boxing and, hey, I love the sport and I have a passion for it, right? Light heavyweight, cruiserweight, whatever his choice. And let's say, for starters, he's fighting one of the worst fighters in the division. And he's honest enough to say, well, basically, I wanted to see where I stand. And as we go through the rankings, you know, we don't want to move too fast, but we want to move to where I'm learning and I'm improving. And as I'm getting better and my confidence to fight different guys will grow, of course, and then we'll get to that point one day because I want to be world champion. Cruiserweight world champion, light heavyweight world champion, whatever. And initially he was talking about light heavyweight. But let's just say he would say that. And let's say that's the steps he was taking. So when he loses to a Tommy Fury, we know Tommy Fury is not a good fighter. But he beat Jake Paul, which is why I laugh when you guys call him trash, garbage. But you say, Jake Paul's a good fighter. How? Well, he didn't have that much. I don't care. I don't care he didn't have that much experience. He lost to a fighter, clearly, that everybody calls trash. So how is he good? Tommy Fury, fighters on that level, that's Jake Paul's level. You go from losing to Tommy Fury to beating Mike Tyson. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has never been much of shit at his best. And he's far removed from even that. So, with that being the case, y'all, wouldn't you respect that much more, though? That, yo, dude is in here trying to pay his dues. He's paying his dues and trying to earn his stripes. He's not in here just, he's not fighting the very best guys yet, but he's working up. We get that. It's no different when we went to, and let me make this clear. Like, for example, when I talked about Butterbean and we talked about Kimbo Slice. Well, Kimbo Slice came into Bellator first before UFC, and he fought Tank Abbott, who is a striker. Okay, and he knocked Tank Abbott out. There's a lot of guys that would have beat Tank Abbott and had already beat Tank Abbott, but Kimbo Slice was new. Now, what happens when Kimbo gets in there with someone that can grapple? If he can't get that shot and knock them out, right? Or sprawl and keep them from getting him down. So you have to move them properly. We saw him on that, whatever that show was called, that UFC had, that reality show. And he lost to that guy they called Big Country. We knew Kimbo was comfortable on his feet. Once they get him to the ground, that was going to be his weakness from day one. And he showed in that fight. He did not have a clue as to what to do to get up and he didn't know what to do. Okay? Now, the point with that, though, is people would say, in this generation, Kimbo's stupid. See, look at what Jake Paul did, though. If Jake would have did it that way and tried to go through the fire, he wouldn't be as successful. See, he would have had the money he had. You exactly right. That's my point. You are supporting what we call being a pussy. Imagine going to the movies. You bring your family with you, right? You have to pay. So let's say it's a lot of you, and your bill comes to like $120. You're paying for everybody. Now, popcorn, hot dog, whatever, all this shit. Now you pay, you go in, you didn't spend well over $100-something for all y'all to come in. Another guy comes, he has the same amount of people as you, but he leans over and say, "Hey, listen, man, I own that barbershop down the street, right? Yo, let us get in for free. Yo, I'll hook you up with free haircuts, yo, for the rest of the year. And see that chick right there? You like that? Guarantee you, yo. What you doing tomorrow? Nothing? You off? Yo, let us in free. I promise you. Word up. A year free haircuts. You get to tap that. You get to clap them cheeks right there. Tomorrow. Now, it's not your business, right? But why does this motherfucker get to skip the line and not pay? But all of us had to pay. And everybody else had to pay. Because you getting something out the deal? See, the powers that be in boxing, yeah, they let him skip the line. They cut a deal. The more they tell you morons, oh yeah, look at the contributions he's making to women's boxing and what he's doing, the charity work. Yeah, okay, yeah, right. And he had to skip the line to do all of that? He had to skip the line to do all of that? You focus on those things and not how he got there. You understand what I'm saying? I was watching a movie one day, and they were having this race, and they were like out in the open country, right? So there was nobody to see certain things. And they had this one guy who was in the car, but they had it to where the guy made a mask that looked just like him. So what happens is he's driving, right? And so they had another car that was somewhere stashed behind some bushes. So they got to the point where they waited and timed it. And then all of a sudden now, through the radio, he comes out. So he comes in first place and he wins. And this is the actual driver, you know? And they didn't catch on at the time to the fact that he cheated. Let's translate that to real life. Would you respect that? Yeah. You didn't win, you cheated. And this is where, right now, the fact that you can look in the mirror at yourself, knowing you don't care about fights being fixed, you don't care about people skipping a line, you don't care about what's fair, as long as it's not happening to you. I know we got a lot of racist people out there, a lot of these race fans, they pissed off, we know why. But then two, for every excuse that you make for Jake Paul, you won't make those same reasons or understand for any other fighter who don't do the type of shit he does. I promise you. What's the guy named that Anthony Joshua fought? He only had one loss. Kubrat Pulev. Remember in one of those rounds, AJ started raining shots on him, and that motherfucker turned around, literally turned his back to avoid, they was running forward to avoid shots. And that is an automatic DQ. Ref can enforce that right there, but he didn't. People was, oh, he should have ended, right? And then AJ won the fight anyway, but he turned around. But people was, yeah, man, nah, they were supposed to turn, they supposed to disqualify him. Now, people wanted to discredit him as a contender for AJ. I don't remember if he was a mandatory or whatever the hell it was, or how he became, the challenger for AJ. I don't remember. But that's part of what that was. But it's true, yeah. You turned your back and ran. I don't want to fight no more. Which one of them damn brothers, them two Latino guys, whatever, and that Jake Paul fought one of them, he did the same thing. He turned around and ran. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody was bringing that up and talking about that. Everything about that was, oh, let's not focus on any of his flaws, but we'll focus on other people's flaws. So Devin Haney can move, stick that jab right hand, move some more, body shot, jab, move some more, jab again, double jab, move some more, jab right hand, but right, and he's running. As I said in the first video, that crap that Jake Paul did, y'all call that smart. I hear people saying, I understand why he didn't want to engage with AJ. AJ's a two-time, world champion. No, that's why he shouldn't have been in there in the first place. You see, that's the whole point. You wanted something, but you had to figure out, how was I going to get it without getting my brains beat out? I know. I'll run. Y'all remember that old episode of Sanford and Son? When Lamont had got beat up by JoJo Jackson in the bar. Remember, he came in with his nose all bleeding, him and Rallo. Remember that? And Lamont hired the karate instructor. That's the one when Lamont was out there jumping up in the air, acting all crazy and shit. Yeah. Remember when the karate instructor came to the house to show Lamont some moves and techniques? And remember the guy, Gus, and he told Grady, Mr. Wilson, karate is the oldest technique known to man. And what did Grady tell him? It ain't older than running. And what did the crowd do? They start cracking up laughing. That's the technique that Jake Paul used. He ran. Literally ran. I thought he was about to go home. That motherfucker ran. Y'all call that smart. Y'all said he had a reason. I could understand. No, he ran his mouth way before he got in there and ran around the ring. See, this is the mockery that people make of this sport. Now let's look at something. I saw it was a doctor talking. He talked about the 7 teeth that was loosened, and that because his jaw broke in 2 different places, right? Y'all saw the what you call it, but the X-ray. For one, I don't know if his mouth was open or not, but you get hit with a good shot with your mouth open, quick way to break your jaw. But 2, why was Jake Paul supposed to leave this fight unscathed? Let him just keep making fake fights, because look at all the contributions he make. Look at what he does for women's boxing. Look at all the plants he put out in the audience that can stand up and, we get all of that. See, that's the problem, though. This is a fake generation of people. Y'all have no integrity. Y'all do anything for some money. Y'all do something strange for some change. We all know this about you. So here's the deal. He went in there. He got his jaw broke, which means he's going to wind up having to get implants. Yeah, because they're going to have to put those little screws and maybe the titanium plate or whatever. So he's going to have to get implants to replace those teeth, which also means this is another thing that's going to be on his mind if he decides to get back in the ring, that he's going to have to wind up getting dental surgery again. And newsflash, it doesn't necessarily take a heavyweight to break your jaw. Now, he claimed he wants to still fight, but at cruiserweight. His career in the ring might be over, and it should be. This motherfucker is a disgrace to the sport of boxing as a boxer. So if you want to continue to contribute as far as being a manager, the owner of your own company and pushing the women's division and doing your little charity, fine. You're still generating big money, but this is what greedy people do. And then want to talk shit like you're better than what you are. If you were better than what you are, what happened? What did you say you are? You're as good as you say you are, then you would have won. And you said that this fight with you and AJ was going to look a lot like the Usyk versus AJ fight. You put yourself in the same category as Usyk. You sat there and talked and talked and talked and talked about how you don't know what you got to do to get your respect. I proved myself time after time against who? For everybody's watching now, who's watching Jake Paul, and their introduction to boxing is through Netflix, through these cards with Jake Paul. They have Jake Paul like he's some hero. And what you just watched for these casuals, especially the younger kids, all you're doing is teaching them to be full of excuses. You're teaching them to not go through things the right way. You're that kid that takes the calculator, get all the answers, and then write everything down, and then go to class. Your teacher asks you to come to the blackboard and show everybody how you got that answer, and then you can't fucking do it because you don't have your calculator. You don't know how to do the arithmetic. You don't know the steps. That's Jake Paul. So on paper, people think you're smarter than what you are. Same thing with this guy. He came in through the back door. For every fucking fighter that has gotten their jaw broke, that's lost some teeth, that don't have big money, for every fighter that's dedicated themselves to this sport, because they don't, but they don't have the exposure, they don't have a good team around them. Hey man, but they can fight, but they just don't get that big break. Imagine how they feel. Imagine that this is a real fighter, but here comes a YouTuber. It's funny how y'all want to tell the real ones, he's only a YouTuber, he's only an entertainer, like we know. Have you not been listening to what we've been telling you all this time? Because excuses won't make you get better. All the goofball shit, all the clowning, all the foolish shit, that's for the circus. That's for kids. That has no place in real boxing, man. All this sports entertainment mindset shit is garbage. I'm not for it. I'm not into it. I know one of his fights, he was fighting some MMA guy, and he's telling the guys, calling the guy a pedophile, telling people that the guy was messing with kids, and I'm just sitting here going, this is today's boxing, huh? They're paying this idiot millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars, to sit here and fight guys not worth a damn. And to sit here and have actual fake storylines. This is what you call sports entertainment. Boxers have waved the white flag and jumped in and said, hey, I just want to get paid. Let me ask you something. In fact, I don't even want to ask you. Let me just give you a picture. I do want to ask you something. I want to give you a picture. Fighter A is in a dusty basement with a heavy bag, a speed bag, a double end bag, a treadmill, an exercising bike. Okay? Weights. Got everything he need, but he don't have real tall ceilings, so he got to go outside and jump rope in the cold. Fighter B, nice big luxurious gym, big ring, all these sparring partners, everything, got everything. Perfect temperature, big fridge full of refreshments and all that. Right? Warm, running in the indoors, and right? Fighter A is out there running in the cold. Fighter A is sleeping in a camper. Fighter B is up in a nice luxurious hotel wearing silk and all that, room service shit, right? Fighter A is serious about honing his skills. He's not concerned with being called the greatest of all time or anything, but he's just going to destroy any motherfucker that they put in front of him. Guaranteed. Fighter B has a PR team that's comparing him to Ali and this one and that one, and he's better than this one, he's this, he's that. Now, Fighter A is doing everything the hard way. There's no easy path. Fighter A doesn't have not even close to the money that Fighter B has. Now, Fighter A electrify crowds because Fighter A goes in there and destroys shit. Fighter B is super popular and people cheer for him because he's a clown, he's a goofball. And basically, even if he can fight a little, let's even say he's good. But Fighter B and his team are behind the scenes going, hey, stay the fuck away from that animal. Look, man, you don't need him. That motherfucker is not just vicious, he can fight. He's smart and he don't give a fuck. You sitting up here farting through silk drawers. You understand? You got 100 fucking inch screen TVs in every room in your fucking mansion. You got, bro, stop. And you're not this guy. You don't need this guy. You have a beautiful life, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful home. Avoid this motherfucker. Fighter B puts up no argument. The world doesn't get to see that though. And we're talking about actual fighters. In front of the camera, Fighter B is not worried about Fighter A. In fact, he doesn't even want to acknowledge him. Now, two scenarios. Either they never fight, and Fighter A is fighting everybody, and he's destroying everybody. Fighter A starts to get a little older, so he might finish his career with 2 or 3 losses, but in his prime, he would have destroyed those 3 guys that beat him or 2 guys that beat him. And then Fighter B ends up beating 1 or 2 of those guys that beat him. But let's just say at this point, they were damaged goods. The history books show you certain things People make judgment before they know the whole story. Now, let me explain what I just said to you real quick. All y'all should get it. There's a lot of times when real fighters don't get the break that they need because the fighters that's close to getting that break or have gotten it don't want to ruin it. They don't want to risk it. So they may talk to you like they're super confident, but inside they're like, nah, I'm not fighting that motherfucker. I really don't want to fight that motherfucker. Fighters aren't as brave as they pretend to be. Notice now, in this era, you hear less of, I want the smoke. 50-50, fuck all the other shit, I want the fight. Know what you hear now? Well, I mean, if the money's right, if it makes sense, yeah, I mean, right? That's what you hear now. Usually that's coming from the management team, right? This is coming from the fucking fighters today. You hear that more than anything else. All you hear other than that is a bunch of clowns getting in front of cameras, goofy, acting tough, talking shit, blah, blah, blah. This, that, I knocked you down in sparring, blah, blah, blah. You ain't this, you ain't that. Yo, shut it up. Let's make it happen. Right? And you always got some motherfucker standing there smiling, just looking back and forth, back and forth. As soon as they get quiet, your turn. And these clowns just back and forth, then the fight never happens. That's what this generation produces. And everything is always a money dispute. Now, question. How you think you gonna beat fighter A's vicious ass? Here's a motherfucker sitting in complete darkness. I mean, literally, in the dark. No lights on, no TV, nothing. Just sitting in the dark, and even though it's dark, his eyes are closed. And he's just imagining what's getting ready to happen because he's gonna smash some shit. And fighter fucking A don't know anything about that. This motherfucker sitting in a room that's about 25 degrees. Like it's nothing. Like it's summertime in the park chilling. Hands fucking cold, face, but this motherfucker don't feel it. How the fuck you gonna beat something like that? And you're not like that. But you cheering for this little pussy because he got you fooled. This fool has been protected and don't have a resume that says I'm a great fighter. I'm flashy, full of flair, but I ain't never been through a war. I'm saying all this because I want y'all to think. They don't make fighters like that no more. And fighters like that aren't really made. They're guided and have direction to tap into everything inside them that they need to become that animal that they need to. This generation is different. There was a time when you walked in the jungle and you look, you're a big ass giraffe and you see an elephant. You see the rhinos. Huh? 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 You see the fucking lions. You see the hyenas. You see all these vicious predators. And you know at any time it can go down and you're ready. This generation, yes, this pussy ass generation. You go in the jungle, all you see is hummingbirds, butterflies, worms, canaries and shit. Fuck you doing in the jungle, canary. Yeah, that's what you see in this generation. Even in the real jungle, the little motherfuckers is vicious. You ever seen a honey badger? That little motherfucker fight any motherfucker ain't but that big, will fight anything. Huh? Know what y'all got over here? Huh? Y'all got little rabbits. Little ferrets. Y'all ain't got nothing. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. This new jungle? No. You once hear fighters talk about what they want their legacy to be, then you hear them saying they don't care about legacy. And there are different ways you can mean that. But when you have fighters that's calling out the top guys, that want to fight the top guys, that's where you need them to clarify that. But at the same time, you can say, all right, I think I understand what he means. Because he's still trying to fight the top guys. But I'm telling you right now, especially when a fighter puts in his or her mind, I want to retire by the time I'm this age. Because now the clock is ticking faster. And you're going, all right, How much money do I want to exit this game with as a fighter? Because now, guess what? Regardless of what your plan is, things might not happen the way you want it to. So the bigger the demand for your name is, the more likely it will happen. Because whoever you're going to fight, if you're making massive money, they're going to make good money too. Now, if you notice something about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, AJ said, and one of the at the end of what interview was that? When he said, I think it was maybe when he was fighting Cameron, when he was being interviewed by Cameron. One of those interviews, I remember him saying, you want to get back to where you were, and here I am, back on track, getting ready to fight Jake Paul. It's not the competition that has him back on track. It's the spotlight. AJ isn't from America. Did you hear the ovation he got when they introduced him? Did you hear the ovation he got when he had his hand raised? But people tell you nobody knows AJ in America. Now, there are a lot of casuals, and boxing in America is not what it used to be. I told you guys in the previous video, I was in the store the other day, and they were talking about, you watching the Jake Paul fight? And those guys knew who Jake Paul was and didn't know who Anthony Joshua was. One dude that was walking, came and got in line, he knew who Anthony Joshua was, knew of him at least as AJ. He knew of him at least. But the rest didn't. So this was the Jake Paul show as far as they was concerned. That's what they're trying to do. They want to make anybody under that MVP banner a household name. So it don't matter who you're fighting, you're going to make big money. People are going to tune in because they want to see you. That's what they try to do. So now with AJ beating Jake Paul's ass and people thinking that Jake Paul's a big deal. Now, after seeing that bullshit, if you still think he's a big deal, you're just a big dummy. Jake Paul does not belong in a pro boxing ring. He belongs in that misfit shit that he has going on because he has no respect for the sport. He's a disgrace to the fucking sport. Because all it is money. A fucking drug dealer could sit here and say, yo, why you hating, man? I got 2 fucking mansions. I'm feeding my family, yo. I'm saying we good. Why you trying to get me arrested? So what? I'm selling heroin and crack and all kind of drugs that's causing people to overdose and helping junkies to just kill themselves. So what? I'm living good. Anybody can say that. A pimp could have fucking prostitutes out there on the stroke. Come on, man. I know that's your mama, your little sister, your cousin, and your auntie, and your grandma out there sucking and fucking doing something strange for a little change. But come on, man. Yo, they helping me live large. Anybody can say that. Like people tried to say about Floyd. What was good for Floyd wasn't necessarily good for boxing. This motherfucker fought 23 fucking world champions total. The fuck did Jake Paul do? And when you sit here and say, he beat the great Iron Mike Tyson. Oh, back up. Now finish that sentence and let everybody know that Mike was 58, had 8 blood transfusions. Stop trying to make these people watch and think that he went and just beat Mike Tyson like this was Mike. But then you got the idiots. But that's still Mike Tyson. Like, okay, cool. Y'all didn't say that when he lost to Danny Williams. Hypocrites. Y'all didn't say that when Holyfield beat him. Hypocrites. In fact, the Mike Tyson crybabies was bitching when Customato died. Yo, man, if he had Customato, he'd have never lost. Yo, man, every excuse. But somehow, Jake Paul beating him had nothing to do with his age, nothing to do with the fact he had 8 blood transfusions, nothing to do with the fact that the last time he was in a professional ring, he got knocked out, got stopped, 2 back-to-back losses. And what did Mike Tyson say before that, at that post-interview in the ring? He said, I don't have the heart for this thing anymore. No disrespect, but for me to lose to a fight of this caliber, I'm not going to disrespect the sport of boxing anymore. I'm just going to retire. Notice, I'm not going to disrespect the sport of boxing like this anymore. I'm going to just retire. I'm just doing it for the money. I don't have the heart for this anymore. That's what Mike Tyson said. And somehow, you silly gooses thought Mike Tyson was going to go turn the clock back. And all of a sudden, he got the back. He got it back in here. And he got it back. No. So now when Jake Paul wins, what I tell y'all? They're going to try to make him like he's Superman. Case in point, he doesn't belong in the sport of boxing. Not the pro ranks. All these little bush leagues that they do or whatever. Cool. Let them do what they're doing. Let them do their thing. Even if a misfits fighter decide he want to fight a pro rank fighter, the first question should be, what dues did you pay to get here? We just gonna skip the line for you for what? Yo, I got 25 million YouTube subscribers. I got 15 million, Instagram subscribers. I got 45 million TikTok subscribers. What? Oh, all right, come on. You know what, man? I'm gonna call, the money team. I'm gonna see if we can get you in the gym. I'm gonna call this one and that. Yeah, yeah, man. Really? But then you telling Terrence Crawford if he want to leave. He can't draw. I'm so frustrated with this guy. This guy can't sell a family dinner. Who end up being classified as the pound for pound best fighter. But Bob Arum didn't care if he left or not. Now, at the end of the day, when so-called boxing fans don't know the difference between a misfit fighter and a real fighter, boxing has a problem. And you know what that problem is? There's no real interest in none of the fighters that you have. Y'all bash Clarissa Shields because she talks shit. So what? Most fighters do. But she back it up in the ring and she's not ducking no goddamn smoke. She's fighting Franchine, who is and this is a rematch because they fought both of their debuts against each other. She ducking Shadeja Green for what? Shadeja Green got beat up by Franchine. Y'all gonna act like that fight didn't happen? Now, if she would have picked Shadeja, you know what y'all be saying? She ducking Franchine. She know Franchine better now. She ain't want that smoke. Why would you choose the loser? See, y'all are so full of games and so childish and immature that y'all don't think about the dumb shit that y'all allow to enter this right here. It's like your whole body's just fucked up. You like a computer virus. Like society is like a computer virus to y'all. Y'all can't think for yourselves. Y'all don't respect a guy like Devin Haney who does nothing but call the top dudes out. And after the performance he had with Brian Norman, right? It pissed y'all off. You want to know why? Because not only did he drop him, he won a decision, but all that, he's a runner, he's not the same. And we didn't know if he was going to be in that position mentally of not really wanting to engage because of the Ryan Garcia situation. But if he understood, like what he says he understood, he knows I lost to a motherfucker that was cheating. Yeah, and I didn't fight the best, and we all went through that. We know why things happened the way they did and what we know and what we think we know. But at the end of the day, y'all don't respect real fighters. We live in a fucking country, let's just say it like it is, where a fucking white American will cheer for a Russian against a black American. A German. Anybody that got blue eyes, green eyes, blonde fucking hair, you'll cheer for him over a black American. So what is that going to cause the black Americans to do? Not the same thing. Black Americans is weird as fuck too. Because black Americans hate on black people just as much as racist people do. Then you don't want people in this country. They ain't from here. They're taking our job. Whatever. America is just full of shit. Boxing has been infected a long time ago. From its inception, there was always bullshit going on. It was always controlled by racists. It was always the most opinions that was voiced was by race fans. But at the end of the fucking day, you look at boxing for what it is. Look at Jake Paul, for example. For everybody that Jake Paul, like his so-called high-profile wins, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, Mike Tyson, 3 black men, right? Understand something. This dude sit here and speak about it as if he really accomplished something. Anderson Silva is no fucking boxer. Tyrone Woodley is no boxer. Mike Tyson don't do nothing but get high, smoke weed, chew mushrooms. He's high all the time. All right? Mike ain't got no hunger for this shit. Mike wanted that damn money. Anybody else that he beat. Example, when he wanted to fight Hassan Rahman Jr., y'all realize Hassan Rahman Jr. got stopped by Kenzie Morrison, but what did he do? He chose the loser. Kenzie Morrison called him out. He never responded to Kenzie Morrison. Yeah. Then he made a bullshit excuse to not fight Hassan Rahman Jr. because he ain't make weight. The few pounds and y'all are like, oh man, no man, he's contracted to make weight. He's supposed to earn the contract. See how the skin color changes shit? He got to honor the contract. Remember that? Because Hassan Rahman Jr. agreed. I think he couldn't go over 225 or something like that. And he wound up doing, I think he couldn't cut the weight. And I told y'all the dude is lazy. He's not that good of a fucking fighter. He's a shit fighter. Let's just say it like it is. He's lazy. He got potential. But potential ain't just enough. He's lackluster. He's not a good fighter. Fuck potential. And what does he do? He picks the loser, not the winner. So why did he never respond to Kenzie Morrison? And let's not sit here and say anything about Hassan Rahman being... No, Hassan Rahman wasn't a super popular guy, but he had respect on his name. And let's not forget, Kenzie Morrison is the son of Tommy Morrison. His father got respect on his name too. Nah, he chose him and then backed out. Oh, because he didn't make weight. Didn't everybody make a big fucking deal when Keyshawn Davis went through with the fight but didn't make weight? Gotta honor the contract. But see how the race fans made excuses for Ryan Garcia when he didn't make weight? You gotta blame the Haney's though. See how everything is a pivot now. Move the goalpost and let's pivot. Oh, now it's the Haney's fault because they let the fight. No, the commission could step in and say, fuck that. No, you didn't make weight. Nah, regardless. Regardless. See, the rule book only applies to who you want it to apply to. And this is why it's great that he got his jaw broken 2 places and lost 7 teeth and got to get teeth. That's great. He got the money to do it. It's great. Because now his ass know to stop playing. All along, he's talking about going to light heavyweight. Now he's talking about cruiser. You want to know why he chose cruiser? He can make light heavyweight. He knows. The cruiserweight division is dead. After Jao Pataya, you barely know anybody else's name. There's no real talent there. It's not deep at all. And if he had any confidence in himself, he wouldn't have ran. If he was a fighter in here, he wouldn't have ran from Anthony Joshua. Even if he tried to box and move, he's much shorter and got to get in, got to out quick, got to find how to give all shit that he's not capable of doing. In fact, remember when he sat there and he was saying Francis Ngannou got slow feet, this guy has no movement, all right? He said, and I remember in the video I said, what got me was AJ sitting there playing along, being so respectful to this dude, and even like apologetic to the guy. This motherfucker sitting there talking like he's the seasoned pro, like he's the seasoned veteran. And AJ's the up and comer. He's breaking down Francis Ngannou and this and that and all. Francis Ngannou wasn't interested. He claimed he made an offer, and Francis Ngannou wasn't interested in fighting Jake Paul. Let me tell y'all something. I don't really like to say I guarantee you a lot. And we'll never know in terms of actual proof. But I strongly feel, I have no reason to not believe, if he would have fought Francis Ngannou, he'd have ran the same way. Francis Ngannou was like, what, 272 pounds? AJ was 245. You see the size difference? Now imagine what happens when he get in there, that big black African, and his little 216-pound ass who can't fucking box anyway. And y'all, oh man, Jake should have gotten better shape. Why? So he could have ran more? He always been a little fat motherfucker. The only difference at 175 is he was just lighter. That's it. And as you start to get older, your body start to grow. It shows you. That's about saying like that would have made a difference. He would have just been able to run some more and run to the final bell. Is that what y'all really wanted to see? Well, of course the Jake Paul fans did. Now you talking about a boring fight. And here's a guy who did nothing but ran until he ran out of gas and got to the point where he still was scared. All he was trying to do was grab and hold. And y'all said this motherfucker showed tremendous heart. Wow. But Eddie Hearn said it's, because they want to do business with this mother going forward. Not so much of him getting in the ring, but just him, his promotional, all this kind of shit. They try to not burn bridges with people. That's all. They try to make allies with people because you never know how business is going to pick up. That's all the fuck that is. Now look at all the criticism Eddie Hearn has had for other people, but you're going to tell me this motherfucker don't have criticism? You think deep down inside he showed tremendous, get the fuck out of here. Tremendous heart by running and holding and humping somebody's leg. Real tremendous heart, man. He has disgraced this sport of boxing. He has disrespected the sport of boxing. The amount of money he's made, as far as him helping the women, as far as him whatever contributions and all that, is like I said, is the least that this motherfucker can do. That has nothing to do with what he does from bell to bell in terms of how we respect or don't respect him. The money has nothing to do with that. He has not earned shit in terms of us putting him in a certain position because he's not there. Roy Jones was talking about him one day. Roy Jones said, Jake Paul has a better chance of surviving a fight with like him or Mike Tyson, because if he fights somebody his age, they're more than likely just going to have way more experience and they're going to knock him out. Roy Jones is not stupid, man. He knows this motherfucker is not shit. But he's not going to come out and say Jake Paul is not shit. Simply because I might possibly have a gig with this guy one day. If they had a falling out, I bet you Roy Jones would say something real different. He'd be straight up, this dude is trash. Because there's no way, okay, as big as Roy Jones' ego is, there's no way Roy's that stupid to think that Jake Paul is a good fighter and to say he got a better chance of, bro, you saw what happened with the Mike Tyson fight. Okay, and pretty much he wound up beating Roy as well. Why? Because Roy needs his shot. Of course, Roy Jones is past his prime, and pretty much, Roy Jones, he's just done. You think Roy Jones will have a problem making that money too? Now, let's flip it. Let's say that did happen and he beat Roy Jones. And then he starts saying, I beat Roy. Roy wanted the pound for pound. Best he wanted the GOAT, this, that, and I fucked him up. You think that Roy Jones at some point ain't going to get sick of that shit and start saying, all right, you talking like you beat a prime Roy Jones, right? Now, Roy, the same person that said if Antonio Tarver tell the truth, he'll tell you he beat a guy, a depleted Roy Jones, like Tarver really going to sit up here and go by that bogus ass excuse and shit on his own career and his own accomplishment. That's not so. Massive ego. That's what he's, I beat Roy Jones, and they're the same fucking age. Stop with that bullshit. So there's no fucking way that you can go out your way to say that about Tarver and expect us to believe you when you say Jake's a good fighter. I don't give a fuck what none of them say. He's not a good fighter. He's trash. A good fighter don't fight the way he did. And that was running. He put up no fight. He tried to not win. Okay? You don't win by running. He wanted to run to that final bell, like I said, and claim a moral victory, which is pussy as hell. Ain't no such thing as I don't even believe in that shit. He wanted to claim a moral victory because I'm in there with two-time unified champion and I made it to the final bell. Why would you applaud that? Nigga, you ran. Then he come there with his little racist ass Hulkamania shirt on. He come there with Tekashi 6ix9ine and all this. And I'm just sitting there just looking like, this dude is a real goof. It's not nice to shame and mock. You know, Jake Paul shamed and mocked pro boxing. He manipulated the system because he was allowed to. David Benavidez. You think Jake Paul can beat him? You think Jake Paul want that smoke? Why do you think he's talking about he want to fight Canelo? Because it's a bigger money fight. Canelo is a smaller guy, and he probably feels more safe as far as how bad he'll get his ass whooped. But now, with what happened to his face, it's going to change a lot. And trust me, he was too chicken shit to stand there and even try to fight AJ. What you think is going to happen after all this dental work and shit happens? He's going to be worried that his face is going to get damaged again. Real fighters a lot of time go through that. When they get hurt bad, they're not the same again. He's already chicken shit. And y'all tell me, yo, he crazy, yo, he brave. No, he's not brave. That motherfucker was terrified. He was scared. All that dumb shit he was doing in the face off, sticking his belly out, putting his hands on his hips, grabbing all this stupid shit he was. I'm like, AJ better than me, man, because I'd have broke his face. And I know I don't have the patience for that kind of shit. I don't have the tolerance for that kind of shit. You know, I don't like playing with people. It's like I'm that type of motherfucker. Like, you need to stay where you are because you walk and try to all that. I don't want your face on mine, your forehead. I want to smell your stinking breath, spitting them. I will punch the fuck out you. I can't take that kind of shit. You know what I mean? You remember how certain fights they had like security, like, yeah, that it would have to be like that. Because I'm not going to do no fake punching. No, I would really rock your shit. And you know what I mean? Like, so that type of shit, my tolerance is different. My dad was the same way with that. That silly shit is like, you know, yeah, don't touch me, all that shit. I don't like men, so I don't want no dude in my face. We gonna have a problem. And that's where, when I look at all of this shit and I realize half of these bitches listening is pussy. That's why they don't understand this. They come from a generation of pussy. I'm raw, I'm uncut, I've always been like that. But I'm telling you the truth. A lot of times people say, you know how your parents sometimes, a parent might say something to you in a way you don't like, but when you mature enough, you realize they was right. Yeah. These little boys and girls out here that's growing up watching boxing, like, let's just be real. Alicia Baumgartner is a real fighter. Her opponent was a real fighter. Wasn't on the same level, no. Caroline Dubois, no. So, yeah, you had some real fighters. Now, you mix this YouTuber in with another real fighter. How do people know the difference? I ain't talking about the real ones. How do people know the difference just watching this? He's in the ring with a real one, and he's running from him. And that's the excuse. But look how big he is. So why take a fight that you're scared to fight in? Is that what they practiced in his training camp? Do y'all think about this kind of shit? Is that what they practice in training camp? Just running? I mean, one of his trainers did say this time they practiced nothing for rounds, nothing but footwork. He never said running, he said footwork. And of course, that footwork, you want to work off of the footwork. You got to land punches, you can't just move. Now imagine if Floyd fought like that and then said he's the greatest defensive fighter ever. Yeah. You know, y'all done fucked boxing up this mockery. Y'all allowed it. Y'all allowed it. It's like, man, y'all got cameras around your house, everything. You watch intruders come in, and you sitting there realizing your front door's open, unlocked, your back door's open, unlocked, your window, you know it. And instead of you securing your home, you just allow people to invade your home. And then don't realize why it happened. They didn't protect the sport of boxing. And I told you, all these people who claim they love boxing so much, you can't go along with stuff like this and then claim you love it. That's like when somebody cheat on you. You catch the bitch in the bed, baby, it's not what you think. He means nothing to me. It meant nothing. It meant nothing. But your head bopping up and down, you're licking balls and everything, and yeah, but it meant nothing. Y'all know better than that, right? Y'all know the bitch lying, right? Only mistake she made was getting caught. She didn't get caught. She'd still be doing it. Y'all don't understand these things, right? They did not protect boxing. Boxing has become sports entertainment. You got enough money? I'm listening. What you want to do? That's what this is. Sports entertainment. It's bullshit. Now, Tyson Fury sat there in the car, made a video in front of his wife and kids, and really his wife, the look on her face to me was like, the fuck you doing this here for? Like right now, all this shit when he see Tyson, Anthony Joshua, he's gonna do that. You ain't gonna do shit. You fucking, every time you turn around, this dude, he's a bare knuckle fight, but nobody knows nothing about his past record or no knuckle bare and all this shit, all the tough guy. He ain't gonna do shit. You see, he went out his way to make that little pussy ass video. Whatever the fuck AJ said about if I can kill you, I'll kill you. Hey, if not, whatever. You took that personal, but a motherfucker call you out, you have nothing to say. And let's not forget, this big fat bald-headed hairy motherfucker picked Jake Paul to knock out Anthony Joshua. I remember when Holyfield, he went to Japan. He was there for the Buster Douglas-Mike Tyson fight. When they paired the crowd after Mike Tyson got knocked out, you saw Holyfield's face go. Because he knew, damn, Mike, you just blew the fight. Holyfield wanted that smoke. If I want to fight Anthony Joshua, you think I want to see him lose? So I don't have to fight him and say, hey, look what he did. Imagine what I'd have did to him. No, I want you to win. So I can bust your ass. If it's worth doing it again, I will bust your ass again. And whoever, that's what, I don't want y'all to eat my food. I want to retire and motherfuckers go, damn, this motherfucker beat Wilder, AJ, Fury, he beat Dubois, damn, Usyk, he beat everybody, he beat Atama, he beat everybody, Fabio, he beat everybody that was in the top 10. Everybody he beat was at some point top 10 or champion. He beat all of them. Not sit back holding the belts like Ric Flair, like I'm, and just letting them fight each other and pick it, and I just one at a time, no. I don't have to have 50 fights, 40 fights. I could have 10 and retire. Motherfuckers go, yo, this motherfucker. I don't give a fuck about, where do you rank him? I don't give a fuck if you rank me here. Mission accomplished. I'm satisfied. I'm good. Life goes on. Stop disrespecting the sport of boxing. Letting these people sneak in. Not earn anything, but because of popularity from social media. When Ryan Garcia and T.O. and Riley and them years ago said, man, having belts don't mean nothing no more. Now it's all about how many social media subscribers you have. Don't you remember them saying that? Was they lying? Tank Davis even made references to what does belts mean. Because of the numbers him and Ryan did, as opposed to the numbers that it was, who was it? It was Devin Haney and maybe Regis, whoever it was, because the numbers was considerably lower. So in other words, with no belt on the line, look at what we did. But for undisputed, look at how low their numbers were. Yeah, and this was way before that when they said that, but even Tank said that. Jared Anderson sat here and told the world, y'all remember that? Jared Anderson said, I don't need belts to be validated. He said, I don't even want to do this 2-3 more years, then do something else. Boxing ain't my life. And what he say? I got a daughter. What if something happened to me? Then His heart, I told y'all, I said, nah, just from them words alone, I told y'all, he's not built for this shit. Remember? He in there crying, oh, why me? I ain't choose boxing. You ain't have to choose. Remember, Roy was getting choked up. But yo, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes what it is, you ain't choose boxing, but boxing chose you. And I'm like, Roy, you crying and barking and preaching to this boy. He don't want to box. So everything you saying, that shit has no relevancy to him. It's not going to spark a fire or flame in him or nothing. Last thing we saw of him, at least me, was Jarrell Miller walking up to him, and they talking about they was going to fight, and they claimed they was going to fight. Do you hear anything about a Jarrell Miller versus Jared Anderson fight? And if you listen to Jared Anderson, he said he been wanting that smoke, right? Yo, I fight who they give me. And he went in there against Martin McCauley and got decimated and showed just how limited he is. Now, y'all think all of a sudden this boy gonna get rejuvenated, pop up, and all of a sudden Jared Anderson's a beast. No, Jared Anderson is just Jared Anderson. And he happened to be one of Jake Paul's sparring partners. Go figure. See, y'all got to pay attention to what's coming out these people's mouths and stop sitting with popcorn. Everything they say is entertainment. No, pay attention. These people are all about money. So you go back to my example about fighter A and fighter B, how this motherfucker sitting in dark rooms, pitch black rooms, just analyzing shit. Sitting out in the middle of the fucking woods and shit, just chilling. With his licensed fucking pistol and his fucking, you understand what I'm saying? Just sitting there chilling. Just, how the fuck you going, how you can't fuck with that. You can't fuck with that. You gotta be of the darkness to understand it. You can't be no fucking pussy fighter. You can't be, and when I say that, I'm not talking about stylistically. I'm talking about the inner workings have to be there, man. I don't care if you're a boxer, puncher, straight up brawler, whatever the fuck, if you're a hybrid fight, whatever. You have to have it in you. That, nigga, you really gonna have to kill me to beat me. And I'm not gonna let that happen. These fighters ain't built like that, man. They not built like that. When you say, I'd rather go out on my shield than get clocked and turn around talking to the ref or trying to, you not built like that. You can try to make all the excuses you want. When you in a street fight and motherfuckers trying to jump you, do you be looking around like, yo, why y'all doing, yo? Nah, you just scrapping. You dropping motherfuckers. Like you out there in this shit. And if you ain't built like that, stop jumping in front of the cameras, lying to these paying customers. But can I fault them for your stupidity? Absolutely not. Because all you're doing is showing. I don't even care if this shit is scripted as long as it's entertaining. So you know what you do? You get mad at the messenger. Dumbasses. But the motherfuckers that's out here giving you motherfuckers the okie dokie, y'all falling for it. Look at some of those pictures of Jake Paul's face as he's seeing Anthony Joshua punches coming. That motherfucker was terrified. Y'all must want to see him lose his life in the ring. Because if you try to influence that running motherfucker to get back in there, he only going to get knocked out again. I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen to every motherfucker that climbed through those ropes, that got all his mouth, and don't care about the sport. Don't give a fuck about the fact that Ali ended up with brain damage because of boxing. Gerald McClellan ended up in the position he's in now because of his fight with Nigel Benn in the head clash. All these different fighters that have died in the ring. Wilfredo Benitez died poor, broke. All these fighters that have really dedicated themselves to the sport. And you got these little pissant motherfuckers. Who? I don't know Wilfredo Benitez. Who the fuck is that? I don't know John. Yeah, fuck you too. That's exactly my fucking point, man. But some actor can jump in the fucking ring and pretend to be a fucking fighter. And we supposed to give this motherfucker respect. I ain't got to give you shit. And even fighters I respect, fuck them too when they full of ego and act like you supposed to. I don't look up or suck up to no fucking body. I'm all man. I don't give a fuck about none of that bullshit. But at the end of the day, I respect what's real. And respect is earned. And if it's not a mutual respect, fuck anybody who got a problem with what I say. Because the truth of the matter is, every time we hear people talking about, yo, people die in that ring, right? You're risking your life. So don't you think it's unfair and make you a hypocrite for you to say that? But then you yourself, when you don't like a fighter, want to point out, oh, he would have never beat Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson would die in that ring first. And this guy, remember I posted that video where I had people come in my comment section, and talking about Ray Robinson is the epitome. He's the epitome. That's the word. He's the epitome of boxing. Look at that man's record. There's no way you do something for this long and you don't love it. And remember, I posted that video. I seen that shit when I was a little shorty. Okay, on a motherfucking projector, sitting up there. Yeah, you want to know what Ray Robinson said? When the guy interviewing him, it's on my channel. Go scroll and look at it. He asked him about boxing, and he told him, "I really don't like fighting. It's just, to me, it's just a business for me. That's it. I don't enjoy fighting." But let you tell it, he's the epitome of boxing. He has to live it. And you got that shit from where? See, because you make up these movies in your head. You see somebody else do something, and then your story becomes their story without them even saying any of the words that you say. I tell you what's real. Y'all imagine shit. I look at what's really going on. That's what I do. I separate myself from the bullshit. Therefore, your words are hollow and empty. When you say something to me that makes zero sense. Example of something. And I don't know who put it up there, and I don't care. Sometimes I don't see comments, so I don't respond to what I don't see. But then there's times that I see things and I don't respond to it because it makes no sense. Now, I'll give you an example, and I don't know who put it up there, but the video that I put up about Alicia Baumgartner and Caroline Dubois, that fight should be next. There's no reason not to. Somebody put in there, I just seen it the other day, that Caroline Dubois said that she need 2 or 3 fights before she fight Baumgartner. Caroline Dubois sat there at the press conference and said, Alicia Baumgartner is telling people she's the best female fighter in the world. And I disagree with that. We're fighting on the same card tonight. You guys can watch the both of us and you can determine who you think is the better fighter. She's been calling her out for the past 2 or 3 years. Maybe that person misunderstood something she said, because that makes zero sense. I want to show everybody I'm the best fighter in the world, but I need 2 or 3 more fights first. No, that makes zero sense. So I didn't respond to certain shit because it's like, that don't make any sense. Now I go and put searches in to look up these, and I can't find one video of her saying, I'm not ready for Alicia Baumgartner right now. I need 2 or 3 more fights. I did hear somebody ask Caroline Dubois, does she have a hit list? She named like 3 other fighters, 2 or 3 other fighters other than Alicia Baumgartner, but her saying she's not ready for Baumgartner, nah. She want that smoke right now. And if you don't want that smoke, there's no need to talk shit. And then at the end of the fucking fight, when Baumgartner says if she want that smoke, Caroline Dubois saying she want that, you better come to get these 12 3-minute rounds, right? Remember, like I told y'all before, it was Alicia Baumgartner who had a problem with going 12 3-minute rounds. When Amanda Serrano said she'll fight her, she said, but she went through all of it, makes sense, yeah, no problem or whatever, and this, that. But then she also said she'll fight on one condition, if it's 12 3-minute rounds. And that's when Alicia Baumgartner was saying, are they paying me for those 3-minute rounds? And nobody wants to see women fight for 12 3-minute rounds and this and this and that. Now she changed her story. But the funny thing about it, the way she said it, For people watching that don't know this, they'll think like Caroline Dubois was trying to duck the 12 3-minute rounds or something like that. But no, it was Baumgartner. It was Baumgartner who had a problem with 12 3-minute rounds when Serrano said that. And I said, I look at it this way. I think Serrano and her team feels like Alicia will probably outbox her, but will probably get tired. And Serrano got a better chance of stealing the fight back or maybe stopping her in the long run because she'll get tired, because Baumgartner has always shown like stamina issues. Like she'll just burn out, man, or something, and she falls asleep in the ring at times and get hit with shots she shouldn't. But on the other hand, I feel like Baumgartner probably felt the same way. I'm not sure if I can go 12 3-minute rounds. And that's why she was against it. That's why they handpicked this meatball chick to see, like, you should be able to dominate her. And the thing is, let's see how you look in a 12-round fight if it go to 12 rounds. And now that she knows she can do it, she's okay with it. All right, cool. Cool. So no, when I hear something, I don't want to be the first to tell y'all. Because a lot of shit I hear, I know there's going to be more said. Let it settle down first. Take it all in. Understand what's coming from the horse's mouth. I don't go by what YouTube channels say. I go by what's coming out their mouths. And when I put news out to y'all, I want to make sure I'm giving y'all the truth. There's a channel out there, I don't know the name of it. Stay away from this motherfucker. That's your choice, what you want to watch. This dude just make up lies. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people, man. The other day I saw something saying with Riddick Bowe in an orange jumpsuit like he was in prison, you know, for beating up a woman. And the fuck? And I never heard of this channel. And then I realized, and I look, he got one with Holyfield. He does this stupid shit. He just make up lies. How the fuck is this entertaining? But see, this is my point. I don't care if it's a lie, as long as it's entertaining. This is the generation we're in, and it makes me sick to my fucking stomach. A grown-ass man, and all you're doing is sitting up here just making up stupid. Of all the shit you can make up, it got to be something negative and just lying on people. People need to start suing these motherfuckers, and they'll stop doing this dumb shit. They really need this. That's what they need to do. You're allowing somebody to monetize their channel and make money off of telling lies. But someone who gives it to you raw and give you the fucking facts and the truth. Nah, he wrong for being honest. Come on, Aries, you gotta tell some lies, man. You gotta spice it up and lie. Entertain us with bullshit. Oh, we'll argue and try to debunk bullshit on the truth, but we'll accept bullshit. You can't debunk none of this shit. All you can do is give your fucking opinion. Get in your fucking feelings, because I'll rip apart these motherfuckers that you sit here and idolize. Boxing was not protected. People made a whore out of boxing. All these motherfuckers come and fuck boxing and do all types of fucked up shit to boxing and make money. And as long as it's making money, they can care less about anything else. They don't care about morals. They don't care about any of that shit. They want to dictate to you what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. They don't care. They do not care. Everything is about, let's make the most money that we can possibly make in this situation with these fighters. And that's why a lot of these fights aren't happening. Because even if we see it as it should be a good fight, yeah, but he has no popularity. Yeah, but nobody knows this guy. Yeah, and that's what that is. So don't come telling me nothing about no motherfucking, it's not nice to mock a YouTuber. Fuck that and fuck you. I mock who I want to mock. But at the end of the day, it's okay for the YouTuber to mock the sport of boxing. And if telling the fucking truth about who you are and what you are is mocking, then call it what the fuck you want. I'm going to continue to mock. But I'm going to mock by telling you the truth and giving you facts. And if your two eyes are too blind to see what's real, then you don't even deserve to talk to me. So keep your fucking comments off my channel and keep them in your bird-ass brain. That's all I got for you guys now. Catch you on the next video.